Obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, is an anxiety disorder where people have unwanted thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to carry out. It's a feeling that they have to get it done or they're not complete. But when they carry out this compulsive disorder by achieving what they thought was the answer, they soon realize it was only a temporary fix. There are millions of people in this world who have OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder. There's no magic diagnosis or test to determine if you have this. But there are quizzes, there are questions. And that's my job today, to share some important information to see that if you are really OCD. People who read magazines, many people can't read the magazine until they first take out the inserts. It bothers them. They feel that the page can't lie straight with all the other pages. What about your refrigerator? When you open the refrigerator up, are the labels, or do the labels have to all be facing outwards? What about when you walk outside on the sidewalk? Many people don't like walking on the cracks. Better yet, they don't even like walking over the sewers because they feel fearful. It bothers them. What about your wallet? How many times do you keep checking your pockets that you have your wallet, or your keys, or your phone? How many times do you have to keep checking to make sure that it's still there? Mothers, what about when you wash dishes and your sponge is lying in the middle of the sink and someone comes after you and pours other stuff on top of that sponge? Oof, drives you crazy, doesn't it? Well, I gather that you're going to throw the sponge out. What about when you leave the house? How many times do you have to check the handle of the door? You have to turn it once to the right, again to the left, again to the right. So you're counting. And you think that maybe that's enough times to make you really understand that you believe that the door is locked. What about when you lock your car? Did you hear the car lock with your beeper? Or do you have to keep beeping it once or twice? Or maybe when you walk away, you have to look back and maybe just beep it one more time to make sure. Shutting off your lights. When you see a light in your house that's on, it drives you crazy. Yes, you may think about saving electricity, and that's a good thing. But what about your stove or your oven? After you use it, or maybe that you haven't used it in several weeks, that you have to go back to that stove and kind of make sure that it's exactly on the off position. And you look at it again, it maybe looks a little bit off, and you have to kind of turn it back on and put it back on the off position. Does that sound familiar? What about setting your alarm clocks at night? You set your alarm clock, maybe your phone, you look at it, you put it back the right setting, and you're kind of uncertain, did you really set the right time, because you're worried about being late if you get up too late. So you go back and you check it again. How many times do you check your alarm clock? Writing checks, doing something important. You know, you look at the figure of what you're writing, but you keep checking it. Paying a bill, making sure it matches on the computer. Checking it over and over, just making sure I did it right. Sound familiar? What about when you see a tangled cord? You look at the cord, maybe your computer cord, maybe to your laptop, maybe just any other cord that you're using, an appliance. It just bothers you. You must untangle that cord. excessive fear of germs, how many times you wash your hands. There are some people that close the sink. They handle the sink with their foot. They close the door with their foot. They don't want to touch anything else. They're fearful of getting sick. They're always washing their hands. Everything they touch, they're using Purell. People who are afraid to lose something, so common. You know, you fear of losing something. So you keep thinking about what possibly may be lost, but no one's touched it. What about saving things? You feel like you can't ever throw it out. You just save it like a little child because there's something that bothers you inside that you just can't throw it out. You just can't let it go. Well, those are all common symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorders. So the question is, what do you do? I have this problem, but is it really a problem? It's only a problem if you make it a problem. If you feel good about yourself and what you're doing, and there's no damage to your health or damage to anyone else, it's okay. But there's one thing that you can ask, is ask yourself, is it really that important to worry about it? Is it really that important that even if I make a mistake, is it going to cause any harm? And the answer is, if there's no harm that it's going to cause, then it's okay to have that habit that you live with. Make it a great day. I'm Dr. Alan Mandel.